My gosh, guys, look at that. Oh. So I was cutting across country, and I had something like way over in the other direction on my mind today, and I just turned the corner and bam, I saw these things here. I don't know if this is a great angle. Let me flip the camera around. Looky what is over here. I'm not sure why I'm whispering. I just realized I'm whispering. It's so quiet out here. It almost seems a shame to talk louder. But so I saw that and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And so I started taking a closer look, and then my eyes, over in the shadows here, my eyes caught that. You see that? There's a door there. There's another structure. All right, I think it's right over this. Check this out. And look at those huge blocks. Huge blocks that they used to make this room here. Oh wow, look at that. The whole thing was blocked off. Interesting. So what I've come across here is definitely some sort of ruins from the ancestral Puebloan people. For a lot of years they were known as the Anasazi, but in more recent years ancestral Pueblo has been considered the more appropriate term. They lived in this area from about 800 to 1200 years ago. So these ruins would be somewhere in that time period. Some big chunks of sandstone. I mean, that thing, man, that took a lot of work to move in there and place. We've got a bigger structure here. Probably would have been taller at one point in time, although hard to say for sure. It's big enough and tall enough that this could have been some living quarters. Unfortunately, sun has taken its toll and a lot of the structure has fallen down. You can see big blocks that would have been in it at one point. I mean, here's an entire wall collapsed. This area it's south facing. So it's December. It was probably like 27 degrees to start today, and I'm about sweating over here. And it just goes to show how that direct sunlight coming into these alcoves, how the rock just absorbs that heat and makes these places, I mean, so much more comfortable than the surrounding area. And clearly the native people knew that, because you'll see that construction technique all throughout the Southwest. I don't know if you can see that charring there. Now the explanation for that, I don't know. I can think of a few things, but whether it was accidental or on purpose is intriguing. So this is that first section I saw, but I know there's a bigger area just down below the ledge. So I'm going to go see and try to find a way to get down there. That's not going to work. Let's work a little further down. There it is up there. You see under the overhang. It was a little harder to get to than I first anticipated. I'm sure that was by design. One of the first things I noticed is that huge log down there at the bottom. There's a close-up of that huge log that they used here at the bottom. That's interesting. You don't see that everywhere. Here's the other side of it. Here's the inside. Definitely a living structure. You can tell, one, by the size of the door, and then there's also a lot of blackening here up on the ceiling, and there's a little over on one of the walls, which is always an indicator they had fires in here. Unexpected discoveries are always the most exciting, in my opinion, because yeah, there's no expectation for them. You just sort of all of a sudden like stumble upon it. This area of the rim is full of these pinyon pine trees. One of the cool things about the pinyon is it actually produces a pine nut. And so for centuries, this has been a key source of food for native peoples out here. I was lucky enough to get to harvest some pine nuts this season. They usually ripen in the late summer, early fall. It's a labor of love collecting them, but they taste amazing. Definitely better than what you're gonna find in a store. So I realized I took a wrong turn, and so I was starting to think, oh, okay, I better turn around. And then just as I was doing that, I noticed this up under the wall there. Yes, indeed. What do we have here? There's some charcoal up here. Ancient charcoal? I don't know. A lot of pottery laying around. Also seen quite a few. Here's another little piece. Also seen quite a few just little flakes from chert, what they would have made weapon points or like arrowheads and things out of, or stone tools. Definitely something of considerable size at its time. The roof shows signs of fires. It's definitely been beat up. It gets a lot of sun, and this thing is definitely in a state of disrepair. Some old timbers. Check out these designs here at the back of the cave. I can't really make out what they are. So I was gonna blow by this and just kind of be like, oh, cool, you know, another ruin, not in the greatest shape. I got other places to be. And then I started to pay attention to just how many flakes from stone tools and projectile points were around this area. So I started to look at some of those in particular, and I found a couple really interesting things. So this one, it's definitely broken right here, whatever it was, but you see that perfect little notch? Definitely some kind of a spear point or arrow point. Here's another, just a razor edge here. This might have been some kind of a tool that broke, but just a really sharp edge. I also found, I have no idea what this is. It's definitely something. I mean, look how smooth it is. I don't know these indentations here. It's very heavy. I think it's got a lot of maybe iron in it. Somebody knows, let me know. My gosh, guys, look at that. Oh my gosh. Look, it even left a little impression. Wonder how long it's been there. Let me get my camera to focus. Oh my. That is amazing. Oh my gosh. You know, I was about to leave this area. I was about to do it multiple times, and there's just so much here. I don't think it's visited very often. I mean, who knows when the last time somebody came here was. I stumbled upon it, and I mean, again, I was just about to to leave, and then I saw a cool piece of pottery, and I was just like, man, you know, I was just looking slowly, because that's the thing, you gotta move slow in these areas. I brought this just a few feet up into the shade so I could sit here, and I thought the camera might do a better job. Somebody skilled in studying these, I'm sure, could tell you what style this is and what time period it came from. I honestly don't know. If you know, drop a comment. I'm going to be running out of daylight here shortly, about an hour and a half, and I've got maybe 5 miles back to the car. So thanks to you guys, I get to hike in the dark, second day in a row. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. I better get moving. Appreciate your guys' support. Look forward to more exciting stuff to come.